and this is still a democracy. We still call ourselves the world's largest democracy. And the people who have been paying a direct price for this are not just the Muslims, but are young people, like many of you here. So for the last 3 weeks, since December 15th, we have actually reached some kind of inflection point in the country. On December 15th, in what is known as the Jamia Millia Islamia University, a very well-respected university in Delhi, the police barged in because the students were protesting against a law which the government has brought in called the Citizenship Amendment Act, which names all religions except Islam as people from all other religions except from Muslims would be welcome to come into the country as refugees if they are faced religious persecution, and will be awarded citizenship or will be considered for citizenship. Now this, for many people, has been like a direct statement that the government is out to create a situation where the Muslims of India, who are a large population, who at the time of partition could have chosen to go to Pakistan, but chose to be in India, are basically second-class citizens. So I think even for non-Muslims, people who believed in the idea of India, this was intolerable. And for young people who are going to inherit this country, it was even more intolerable. And therefore people from Jamia and other universities started voicing their opposition. Instead of accepting that in a democracy you're allowed to protest, and as students, that is the time actually that you do voice your dissent. They were thrashed by the police. The police came in and broke up the library. One boy has lost his eye. There were many who were hospitalized. And on the same night in another university in Aligarh, which is only 1.5 hours away from Delhi, another very important university, worse things happened. A tear gas was thrown into a room which is like maybe a quarter this size. As a result, one boy has lost his hand. So in response to what happened, there have been protests all over the country for the last 3 weeks, in practically every place, which the media doesn't cover. But last night, it reached a point which I didn't imagine. I mean, I thought after December 15th, okay, this thing is accelerating now, this government's agenda. But last night at about 6:30, the Jawaharlal Nehru University is probably the most prestigious university in India. Every student aspires to go there because they get the best quality education in a centrally funded university, so it's not expensive. So,
and where is it?
It's in Delhi, and people of all classes can get access to it, unlike private universities which are very expensive. And it has established a reputation of being the best. Last night at about 6:37, something like 100 to maybe 200 men mostly, some women also, many of them masked, carrying iron rods, spades, sticks, walked into the university. You can't enter that university unless you're checked. And yet these people just walked in. They went from hostel to hostel, beating up women students, men students, breaking things. The president of the Jawaharlal Nehru University Students' Union, a woman, was beaten so badly that she was bleeding. She has had to go into emergency care. And all this happened under the watch of not just the Delhi police, which comes under the central government. Unlike, say, here, it will come under the state government. In Delhi, it's a peculiar situation where the local police is actually under the central government. Nothing was done. These people were not even stopped after they'd done their jobs from leaving the campus. The students, this is like a direct assault on a place which has been, since 2016, the center of dissent against the agenda of turning India into a Hindu nation. So students were kept out of the university, the gates were locked, so many of them were still outside protesting. So at about 3 in the morning, finally they managed to open the gates and go back in. But the question still is, will those who did this, will they be caught? Because the counter-narrative was also already started saying it was the left groups in Jawaharlal Nehru University who had attacked the student wing of the ruling party, which is called ABSU. And that is being carried by mainstream media, which is a corporate media which kowtows to the line of the government. So I'm telling you this because, for me, as I understand it in terms of what's happening in India, this is a very important juncture. That in Delhi, in the capital of India, in the most prestigious university, a stone's throw away from where the Home Minister and the Prime Minister are. Something like this can happen in this kind of blatant fashion. Marks a very dark hour. The bright part of it is, last night, for instance, in Bombay, the city where I live, with no organization, thousands of people turned up for a candlelight protest at midnight. And they sat there till 3 or 4 in the morning, and they're going to do it again. And today there will be many more. So there is a reaction, and there is protest. But when the might of the state is placed against people who want to protest, and when the very right to protest is being denied, then I think for us who call ourselves the largest democracy in the world, it is a very crucial point. And I think it's something all of us should think about, whether in the context of what kind of leadership, what kind of choices you make. I think you have to think within this social and political reality that we face in this country.